It is a new era for Washington State football. Mike Leach is gone after 8 years in Pullman. And now Nick Rolovich comes in, hoping to continue his success and keep the Cougars relevant in the Pac-12. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, the best kept secret in all of college football. Today, bringing you our 2020 Washington State Cougars college football predictions. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. And also make sure to check out everything down in the description below, where you can visit our new website, thegridironexpert.com, for some exclusive content over there, as well as exclusive content on our social media pages over on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So guys, like we said, it is a brand new era for Washington State football. Mike Leach, responsible for reviving this Washington State football program, for making them relevant again both within the Pac-12 and nationally, has now departed to the SEC. And in comes Nick Rolovich over from Hawaii, where he compiled a 28-27 record with the Rainbow Warriors, including a 10-5 record and a Mountain West Championship appearance back in 2019. And if you have watched us for a little while, or if you've heard us talk about Nick Rolovich, you know that I think this was a fantastic hire by the Washington State administration. They're moving from Mike Leach's air raid offense to Nick Rolovich's run and shoot offense, which is relatively similar. There will not be that big of an adjustment for the players that Mike Leach recruited into Pullman. And I do believe that Rolovich can get the Cougars to the postseason in 2020, which would extend Washington State's bowl streak to 6 straight years. We take a look at their offense, guys. They only returned 6 starters. And you look at it, the major thing that Mike Leach did, the great thing that Mike Leach did, was he either had a quarterback that was in his system and went through it for about 2 or 3 years. You look at Connor Holiday, you look at Luke Falk, guys like that. Or you've got your transfer quarterbacks like Gardner Minshew and Anthony Gordon. So Leach always had a great quarterback when it came to running his air raid offense. That was essential. The Cougars don't have that this year. They don't have a transfer quarterback in. They don't have a veteran quarterback under center. As a matter of fact, Washington State is the only team in the Pac-12 to not have a quarterback that has taken a snap. They have no quarterback on the roster has taken a snap with the Cougars. That is pretty unbelievable. So it's going to come down to whether Rolovich chooses Cammon Cooper, the sophomore, or Jayden de Laura, the freshman quarterback from Hawaii. And if I'm Rolovich, I think I go with de Laura here, who has experience running a run-and-shoot offense back in his high school days. I think he would be the better fit and would be the easiest transition to that quarterback position. Whoever is the starter, though, will have a great supporting cast. You've got Max Borghi at running back, a guy that compiled over 1,400 total yards last year, and probably will get to run the ball a little bit more this year as well. And they also returned 2 star wide receivers in Renard Bell and Tay Martin. So this offense, guys, they averaged 37.8 points per game last year. They had the #1 passing offense in the entire country last year. And while those numbers may take a tiny step back, it's not going to be as drastic as many think. Of course, the defense is going to be the key for the Cougars, guys. That was the key with Mike Leach. We knew they could score at will, but could they stop people? Washington State returned 7 starters on that side of the ball, but they were 111th in the country last year. So those numbers have to improve. And I do believe that Jake Dickert, coming in as defensive coordinator from Wyoming, where his Cowboys only allowed 17.8 points per game last year, I do believe his defense will thrive in year 1 under Nick Rolovich. They've got Jahad Woods coming back at linebacker, the leading tackler last year with 141 tackles. You've got Will Rogers coming back as the sack leader, and you've got Skylar Thomas coming back as your interception leader. Tons of talent on the defensive side for Washington State, especially up within that front 7. So we're going to take a look at their schedule here, guys. Can the Cougars get back to a bowl game? Can they reach that 500 threshold to make it a very successful year in year 1 under Nick Rolovich? Of course, as you can see, we have marked down that every non-conference game for Washington State has been canceled. As of this shooting, all we know is that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten have canceled all non-conference games, and they will be moving to an all-conference slate. Whether Washington State and every other Pac-12 team plays 9 conference games or 10 conference games, we're not quite sure yet, but we are going to include their non-conference wins in our final record projection because we have done that for every other team so far. So we have the Cougars starting off 3-0. They should really run through their non-conference slate relatively easily here. The only major game and concern I would say is Houston in week 2. But they start 3-0 and then hit conference play. And I'll say that the 4 games before their bye week are very, very difficult, guys. I know they're not against maybe the top dogs in the Pac-12. You're not looking at Oregon. You're not looking at Washington. You're not looking at USC or anybody. But these are all teams that should make a bowl game in 2020. We're going to have them drop in the first one here to Oregon State. The Cougars beat the Beavers 54-53 last year. They scored the game-winning touchdown with 2 seconds left. 2 seconds left and scored 2 touchdowns in a little less than 5 minutes to win that game. But you look at Oregon State this year, they are drastically improving under Jonathan Smith. The biggest question for them is how well does Tristan Gebbia play at quarterback? I think their defense improves mightily, and if Gebbia lives up to the hype, you're going to have a dangerous 1-2 punch with him and Jamar Jefferson at running back, one of the better running backs within the Pac-12. So I think with this game being on the road and with Oregon State certainly having a little more consistency at the head coaching position and maybe even on the defensive side of the ball as well, the Beavers snag a win here. Crucial for them if they want to get to the postseason for the first time since 2013. They then return home, though, the Cougars. They return home, and we have them losing to California, and we're going to have them dropping a game to Utah as well. And I know a lot of people are going to maybe disagree with these, considering both of those are at home for Washington State. But I love this California team, and if you went back and watched our California prediction, you would know why. Yes, Washington State only lost them by 13 last year. But I look at this, guys. That California team was up and down because they were dealing with a handful of injuries, namely at the quarterback position. Chase Garbers battled injuries. I believe missed 4 games last year. They had to rely on their backup in Devin Modster. And Washington State's electric offense, guys, was only held to 20 points in that game against Cal. So now, Garbers is back, should be fully healthy. The offense returns 10 total. The defense returns 8, which is always a strength under Justin Wilcox. And if they can shut down Anthony Gordon in that passing attack last year, I do believe that they can shut down Washington State that's going to go through a few growing pains developing under a relatively new offensive scheme. So California gets the win here, and I believe Utah gets the win here as well. Washington State lost to them by 25 last year, falling 38-13 to the Utes. And I know many will be quick to say, well, Utah loses so much. They lose Tyler Huntley. They lose Zach Moss. They lose almost everybody on the defensive side of the ball, only 2 returning starters from the second-ranked defense in the country last year. So while I do think Washington State puts up some points on the Utes here, while I do think this is a very, very close game in Pullman, Kyle Whittingham, to me, still owns that coaching edge. Kyle Whittingham always reloads on the defensive side of the ball. They lose a lot. They're not going to be nearly as good as they were last year, but will remain relatively strong on that side of the ball. And they have a transfer quarterback in Jake Bentley, where if he gets the starting job coming over from South Carolina, I don't think this offense will take too much of a step back like many think. So Utah is still a Pac-12 South title contender, and I do believe they come on the road to Pullman and get this win. And I also believe Washington State falls on the road to Stanford. The Cardinal losing to Washington State by 27 last year, 49-22. But again, like we said in our Stanford video, and you would know if you've watched college football last year, Stanford had their first losing season since 2008 last year. They went 4-8. That doesn't happen, guys. That doesn't happen to Stanford. A major reason of that was because of the injuries they were dealt. Their quarterbacks were dropping like flies. Their offensive line was abysmal. They didn't have a run game like we've been used to seeing over these past few years under David Shaw. But now Stanford is back. They have a lot of experience. If they stay fully healthy, I do believe Davis Mills and a very strong secondary can get Stanford back to the postseason. The game is on the road. I believe last year was a fluke for the Cardinal, and I do believe they win this game on their home turf. So a lot to process here, guys. If you count the non-conference games, they start off 3-0, and then the Rolovich era gets off to a horrible start in conference play, dropping 4 straight games. And I think many will say, well, that's not going to happen. They're not going to lose 4 straight. Keep in mind, guys, Washington State last year did lose 3 straight games. They went on a 3-game losing streak after their 3-0 start. It began with a 32-point loss, or the 32-point blown lead to UCLA, and they lost 2 more after that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility here. 3-4, they get their bye week, going into a Halloween matchup against Arizona State. And last year's matchup between the Cougars and the Sun Devils was an absolute thriller. Absolute thriller. Arizona State winning that game 38-34. Jayden Daniels getting the game-winning rushing touchdown with 34 seconds remaining. So that game coming down to the wire. Arizona State returns Jayden Daniels, one of the better young quarterbacks in the country. They returned 7 starters on the defensive side of the ball. But the thing for Arizona State is, yes, they do have quite a bit of young talent surrounding them. I believe Herm Edwards has done a pretty good job of recruiting and building up this Sun Devil squad. But outside of Jayden Daniels and Frank Darby, really at wide receiver, they don't have too much on the offensive side of the ball. And I don't know if Jayden Daniels can really carry this offense all by himself. Coming off a bye week, coming off 4 straight losses, I think Rolovich changes some things off this week of rest. And at home, the Cougars upset Arizona State. It's a very close match last year. I love this Arizona State team. Do not get me wrong. But I do not think Washington State drops 5 straight games. And I think that bye week is going to be key in snagging this upset. They're going to beat Arizona State, and I've got them beating Colorado as well. So now they've strung together 2 straight Pac-12 victories here. The Cougars beat Colorado by 31 last year, 41-10. And again, while we know they don't have Anthony Gordon, while we know they're not going to be that air raid offense like we've seen for many years under Mike Leach, this is still an offense that could put up a lot of points against the Buffaloes here. They're going to have so many questions in 2020. Brand new head coach, Mel Tucker, left in February. They didn't get spring practice with his new coaching staff. They lose their quarterback in Steven Montez. They lose their star wide receiver in Laviska Shenault. Colorado was just dealt a horrible, horrible hand after they thought they had found their coach of the future that could get them back to relevancy. And that's just the Buffalo way, guys. So I think Washington State goes in here and coasts a victory over Colorado. And I think they have to work a little harder in this next one, but I do think they get a revenge game win over UCLA. Now remember, last year, Washington State led the Bruins by 32 points in the third quarter. 32 points in the third quarter, but allowed the Bruins to put up 50 second-half points, and Washington State lost at home to the Bruins 67-63. It was one of the wildest games and wildest endings I have ever seen to a college football game. Of course, Pac-12 After Dark seems to do that quite a bit. But UCLA, guys, I don't know what to expect out of them. You would think that after winning 4 conference games, they did go 4-8, but all of them came in conference play, you would think that UCLA was taking a step forward. When you look at their roster and you look at how inconsistent they were last year, you kind of just don't know what UCLA team you're going to get. This is a huge year for Chip Kelly. You know he needs to win this game. You know he probably needs to flirt with bowl eligibility this year. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I think Washington State, with a big revenge on their mind, going up against a UCLA team that does not have a lot of talent defensively, was worse defensively than Washington State was last year. I think the Cougars come in here, utilize Jayden de Laura, Max Borghi goes off more specifically, and they do get a revenge game win over UCLA. I wouldn't say it was a fluke. Credit to the Bruins for coming back last year, but if the Cougars had just learned to hold on to the ball and not fumble so much, they would have won that game. So 3-0, 4 straight losses, 3 straight wins, guys. They're 6-4, so technically if you include the non-conference games, they are going bowling, and that's great because we have them dropping the final 2 games of the season to Oregon and Washington. And that's going to bring the Cougars to 6-6. And I know we're just going to kind of breeze through it real quick. Oregon, yes, Washington State only lost to the Ducks 37-35 last year in Eugene. Oregon having to utilize a game-winning field goal to win that game. But the thing is, Washington State allowed C.J. Verdell to put up 257 rushing yards in that meeting last year. Verdell is back. Verdell is back. Tyler Shugg is going to take over at quarterback. A lot of great things expected from him this year. Joe Moorhead is the new offensive coordinator, so this offense is going to be very, very dangerous. This is the Pac-12 favorite, guys. So even though the game's in Pullman, I just don't think Rolovich has all his pieces together yet to pull off this monster upset. And then Washington in the Apple Cup. The Cougars have lost 7 straight Apple Cups to their in-state rivals. This game will now feature 2 brand new head coaches. You got Nick Rolovich and you've got Jimmy Lake with the Huskies, so that's kind of intriguing enough as it is. But Mike Leach was never able to succeed against Chris Peterson. Mike Leach was really never able to succeed against the Huskies. And I think the Cougars' struggles against the Huskies continue at least for another year. I believe the Huskies own that defensive edge. And if Jacob Sirmon and the offense start to improve and put their pieces together slowly but surely over the course of the season, I do believe the Huskies can squeak out what I believe to be a low-scoring game in the season finale. So the streak will extend from 7 games to 8 straight games for the Huskies. But I can guarantee you Rolovich, in a very short amount of time, will end that streak. But guys, it does not matter what happens here. We do have Washington State going 6-6, of course, including those non-conference games, which we have done for every team from the, Big Ten to the Pac-12 now. Every Power 5 conference, we've included the non-conference games, and we're going to continue to do that. And we may come out with updated records if changes continue to be made. But regardless, a very, very successful season for Nick Rolovich. Maybe better than people would expect in year 1 down in Pullman. You look at this, guys, he's got the talent in Jayden de Laura to run his run-and-shoot offense right off the bat. He thrived at Hawaii, especially after a few years. He turned their program around and made them relevant in the Mountain West, and I believe that he continues to make Washington State relevant in the Pac-12, and not just relevant, but certainly contenders in a very short amount of time as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. And also make sure to check out everything down in the description below, where you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all of our social media pages. And also check out our website, thegridironexpert.com, for some exclusive content. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.